you can play in any chapter that you want. So you get to meet people from anywhere.
Fegley, what's up, buddy?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to see you, my friend.
Same here.
Well, so got to let everybody know we kicked out Phil and Jody tonight. It's the Mad takeover, but we brought back Jake, so also known as Jack when he's not playing well. How are you doing, buddy?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Working on my schedule. Almost got everything finalized for next year.
I like it.
Yeah.
So the question is, most important question of the night so far, are you wearing khakis?
You went there.
Don't do it. Don't.
No, I'm not wearing khakis.
Oh, man. So
pair of sweatpants. I'm lounging around.
I can appreciate that. So both from Kansas City, heard good things about your tour last night. Had some of my members. We had a scheduled release party at Show Me's last night.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of people show up and got most of our schedule out because you know how it is booking schedules these days. Like schedule the scheduled release party and then all of a sudden 3 courses stall and you're like, well, this sucks.
I've got a lot of them that are like, we won't know until after our annual members meeting of whether or not we can. So that's what I'm waiting on. I've got like 3 or 4 courses that are like, we gotta figure something out. Whether or not we can allow so many tournaments. It's, Kansas City, as you know, we're spoiled with public golf and good public golf courses. And the privates here are just so awful expensive that, and they have waiting lists. So the public courses just keep, raising the prices and they don't need you anymore. And so it's been kind of a little bit of a waiting list of whether or not we can get on some of our old faithfuls. So.
No, absolutely. So, well, thankfully, I know you've got a good relationship with a lot of those golf courses, and that helps a lot. And I will tell you, there's a lot of crap being talked last night from St. Louis members. They've got an idea for a little fall point series, St. Louis against Kansas City, little bragging rights. And I was like, well, I'll never gamble against Jake, so we can obviously not do that. Gambling is not supported on the APT. The handicap committee chairman is here to regulate that. Because, Fegley, you never gamble on anything.
No.
Let's be honest about that. It sounded like kind of fun. The little points competition, little St. Louis, Kansas City. I will say Nashville is requiring after the beatdown they took that they want to run it back next year at Greystone. So we're going to have to go to Nashville and defend, but that doesn't mean we can't start some fun with good old KC.
Yeah, well, I'm in talks with a couple of guys about possibly doing our Ryder Cup. So I'm going to be talking with Paul possibly up in Iowa and maybe down in Tulsa. See what we got down there.
Oh, little Schmitzy. I love Schmitzy. So I haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks. I need to give him a call. So
yeah, I just got off the phone with him actually. So talked to him and Jamal tonight, trying to iron out some dates that we can either run over to Columbia or jump up to Iowa, try to find I got a couple open dates that I want to fill with something new. So
nice. Well, keep me in the loop. I've got mine most of the way done. So if there's a date off, we'll work together on that. But while I got you publicly, I got to say thank you for the wonderful, wonderful honeymoon gift. So the tour you got us was unavailable when we got there. So they switched us to like a manta ray night swim thing.
Oh,
which was quite possibly the coolest thing I've done. So it was legit. So didn't take pictures, but we got to YouTube and show you because it was pretty legit. Have like 16-foot fish like swim up with like inches of you.
Awesome.
As you're just standing there, like your arms and legs are out, can't defend yourself.
Yeah, hoping not to die.
In the Pacific Ocean, in the middle of the night, just kind of chilling. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Actually, Buzz from Virginia Capital, Buzz, right?
Probably.
So I know Fegley knows Buzz, but he highly recommended it, and it was definitely good. So free tip for the night on the live. There's a night swim feeding of the manta rays on the big island of Hawaii. Totally worth it. But anyways, we got lots to talk about tonight. Since we kicked out Phil and Jody, we're gonna have some fun. So I feel like the adults are away, so we can make this.
Well, like I said, Well, like I said, and again, so like I said,
I don't have my headphone to put in to pull together.
As I said,
Man, they're probably watching too. Phil's probably watching on headphones. He's at a concert right now with his wife. He's probably watching headphones. Like, man, I'm going to kill him tomorrow. But anyways, lots to talk about tonight. New chapter coming on board. So yeah, we'll jump right into that here in a second. And then tonight's all about the rules, right, Fegley? So I know you've been getting a ton of questions to the handicap committee. We're going to go through some of those, the most common questions, talk about it. We're going to talk at length about the point system tonight, the changes, how it works, how it benefits you, things not to do if you want to be relegated. I think that's a great topic for discussion right there. But yeah, it'll be good. It's good to see everybody in the chat so far. But first, we got a message from our friends. Let's go 2 under, Chris, and then we'll introduce a new chapter.
Two under. Quality fabrics. No roll waistband. Joey pouch. Elevate and separate. No chafing. What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask for, Jake?
I'd love to see Ricky Fowler get back to winning the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Did you watch the Netflix Cup?
Dude, I didn't even know it was on. I just we haven't had a lot of time to do that, but I just saw some like Instagram things of it. And I'm like, how did I miss this?
It was interesting. It had like the sphere and it would like frown at you if you like hit a bad shot. That's like, we need that on the APT. Like, dude, I didn't get to watch very much of it, but what little I watched Justin Thomas slice one. I'm like, that's going to hit the sphere. I mean, he hit it so far right. Like, It's bad when your like Formula One golfing partner is like, I don't know, bro. I'll carry you here.
Yeah, that was that's cool though, man. Right with that sphere right in the background, I'd have a hard time focusing. I don't know if you've seen the stuff they put on the outside of that thing, but my gosh. When they made it the big eyeball, it was creepy. But like if that thing was watching you, I couldn't swing.
No, absolutely. Well, it's funny getting back to 2 under. So last night on our live, we had Jay Delsing, obviously spent 20, 25 years in the PGA Tour. Huge advocate of the APT. Now is a syndicated radio host across. It's him and Dan McLaughlin now, who's the St. Louis Cardinals play-by-play announcer for 20 years. So their show is hilarious. We'll have a great interview. It'll air Sunday morning. ESPN 101 in St. Louis and all around the country, honestly. So I'll try to get a list and post on Facebook so everybody can know the station and all that good stuff. But it's really funny. He's coming in, I'm having to send him more. And he's like, I need more info on the APT. We're doing this long interview. I want to know everything there is to know about the APT. So I finally just sent him the website. I said, Jay, here's the website. All the information you need to know is on here. I'll answer any question you want. But after the 2-page. So I walk in last night to the bar. Like he's sitting there setting up. First thing he comes up to me is like, bro, there's something I need to know. I said, what's that, Jay? And he goes, this 2 under thing, is it really life-changing? And I'm like, it's all I wear, man. Like, I don't want to get too personal with it. Like, we'll send you a sample pair. Like, it's all good. And he goes, yeah, man, all my old PGA Tour buddies, they all wear it. So like Ricky Fowler is like the only endorsement, but I guess like almost everybody wears it out there.
Yeah. It's all I have.
It's so good. But anyways, we love Jack Curry. Shout out to Jack Curry. He's a great sponsor, great friend. Probably watching. You never know. He might throw something in the chat. But anyways, we got to get off to business, Fegley, because we're about to add chapter number 44. I think.
44, 43, 40, 44 sounds right.
77, I think, maybe.
77. I mean, it feels like it at some days. So, just depends on what you define as a chapter, I guess. But no, chapter number 44. Please welcome, it's come my good friend. We just got back from his neck of the woods at Dancing Rabbit, Mr. Joe Shearer.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good.
Awesome. Well, Joe is from the great state of Mississippi, which is also
Is it a great state?
I mean, I don't live there. You live there.
I mean, we run 49 and 50th on every statistical category.
Yeah. All
But
I
cost
know,
of living's low.
there you go.
there are some places you don't want to stop in the dark in Mississippi.
Well, that is very true.
That's fair. I mean, all I pretty
But
much know about
a lot of great
Mississippi is
golf courses.
Tunica National, which is a great golf course. Love that place. We just hosted, obviously,
Yeah.
Dancing Rabbit. Rave reviews from everybody that was there. 2 phenomenal golf
Yeah.
courses. And now there's an APT chapter to find all those hidden gems in Mississippi.
That's right. We got to get to the Gulf Coast and over to Hattiesburg and even in Natchez, there's some great golf courses.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you talk a little bit about, some of the golf courses in the area you're going to be covering? I know you're hitting the ground running. The schedule's almost done, and I know you've been working in the back end for a couple of weeks as we've been waiting to publicly announce this.
Yeah. We have on the schedule 9 out of the 10 best golf courses in Mississippi that you can play. And Preserve, Grand Bear, Shell Landing, up into Jackson. We got Deerfield, and kind of working on Mossy Oak and some of those places up north, that we can play Dogwood. So just looking to put a great schedule together so everybody enjoys it. Maybe a chance to play some golf courses they've never played, and ready to roll.
Right. Well, that sounds like a terrible schedule. 9 of the top 10 you could play.
Yeah, well, we that's what it's all about, a schedule and making sure that guys are enjoying not playing some of the golf courses that that they play every day. Try to get them on some of the golf courses that they just make it a special event.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so here's what I want to know. So where does Dancing Rabbit fall in the top 10 of the golf courses you can play in Mississippi? Because they're not number 1.
No, they're not. And, it's a resort. The top one is always Fallen Oak,
Okay.
which is tough to get on with Beau Rivage. Then we have the Preserve, which is down there on the coast. But, I would rank Dancing Rabbit right up there in third.
Great spot.
But I guess they give it a little different category because it's a resort, kind of thing. But yeah, when you look at, on the Golf Week or golf.com, list, we're going to get 9 out of the 10. So I hope, I'm hoping everybody enjoys it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if you were an overachiever, you'd get all 10. Just saying. I'm just kidding. Got to mess with him a little bit, right? He's the new guy. Like, a little bit of hazing's okay. But
yeah, you're definitely.
That lag he had made him look like he was really concerned.
I know. I'm like looking. I'm like, it was meant to be funny, man. Like, it's okay. Like, you'll get to know us. Like, it's a joke. It'll be okay. Promise. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience? Obviously, I know you've got some quite a bit of experience running tournaments before, so this isn't your first rodeo. And
I moved down to Mississippi about 20 years ago. Before that, I was a general manager at 2 golf courses. I came down here to Mississippi to work for Sky Golf and, the handheld rangefinder. Did some programming for them, and then eventually got in with Golf Week. Not sure how I ended up there, but this is definitely a better opportunity. But I did 2 years with Golf Week. Try to make it as successful as I could, and we had some success. We won a couple awards, and so we'll see what happens. Just trying to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Looking forward to getting in and getting started. I know you got a couple of new members, from the Dancing Rabbit event. So you're getting started, but Mississippi's now live on the website as an APT chapter, and we're really excited to get you on board. Absolutely excited would be the proper APT welcome, and look forward to seeing the schedule. Mississippi isn't a bad drive from St. Louis. I know we had a bunch of members that love Dancing Rabbit, and so we'll bring some people down and support, and look forward to seeing you. And obviously, you've been a member on the APT for some time, so you've been playing, so you understand the APT way, and we're excited to to welcome you on board.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for stopping in tonight, and look forward to seeing that schedule published. And stay tuned. We'll have some updates on our social media page of, welcoming you and getting your schedule out as soon as it's ready.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Mississippi, Jake, you excited about that?
It's a little bit of a hike for me. I mean, I'm not close to anything except the middle of the country.
I understand, but I mean, have you ever had the fried catfish down from Mississippi?
Not in Mississippi, but I've had a lot of fried catfish in the South, and it is good.
Seriously, you've never been to, like, when we've done events at like Tunica National, you never came down for it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, man. They do this like fried catfish every Friday for lunch. Like, if you ever play a tournament at Tunica National on the weekends, like, the most important thing is to be there Friday for lunch, because they do like all you can eat catfish for like $13. And
That's
it's like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah, I love fried catfish. We have it here. We're right on the big river here, so we get some good fried catfish. I mean, we have some huge channel cat here. Bigger ones aren't that great to eat, but they're out there. Oh, hi, there's my dog. But yeah, I do love some fried catfish. And one of the guys, Nathan up there, mentioned Kiva Dunes. I think it's in Alabama, but it's awesome. That place is. I loved Kiva Dunes. I got to stay down there and play. And right after they remodeled the course, we stayed there, and it was just opened up the weekend we went down, and it was phenomenal. That course was incredible, and just a really cool place to go stay. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's good to point out to everybody watching too, like, so many times, like, obviously, like, there's the big chapters where some of the golf courses are famous, right? Phoenix comes to mind. Like, you look at the Phoenix schedule and you're like, oh my goodness, it's just big name after big name after big name, which are all great to play. But don't discount some of the chapters that you may not have heard of a bunch of places. Like the golf courses that Joe's talking about in Mississippi are all absolutely phenomenal. I think about, our buddy to the north, Paul, his schedule in Iowa is really, really good. Yeah. Really, really good. And so the thing is like, there's so many great golf courses across the APT. We've got these all great local directors now and local chapter owners in spots where, they understand the market and the golf course, and they're putting out a killer schedule. There's just some great places. I was looking at Larry Lee's schedule in upstate South Carolina, some of the places that he's playing, and it's just, they're unreal. Like, you're looking at the pictures of these places. Speaking of, Fegley, of places that is unreal. I mean, go ahead and talk about your crush on Rams Hill.
Well, of course, man. We just, it's going to be such a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I love I was telling you earlier, right? I was like, we just need to show, like, if you just go to their website and watch their
seriously, just ramshill.com and don't click anything.
Yes.
Just watch.
Yeah, just watch. And their tagline's great. It says the middle of nowhere. The middle of nowhere is exactly where you need to be. That's it. I mean, the videos will do it justice, but as with all good golf courses, you want to play it too.
Well, the thing is like, we've been there in the videos. I'm just like, yeah, that's about how it looks. I mean, it's that good in person. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of like video trickery going on there, and like the course is really ugly. No, the course is absolutely fantastic. The one thing to let you know, it's very different in price. There's $799 price. It includes a double occupancy hotel room. So it's golf and hotel. Great deal. You can price out just going there. They've given us a great deal. Limited field, 80 players. It'll be fantastic. So make sure to get signed up. Sign up to start to pick up. There's a lot of, we've been fielding a lot of calls and questions about Rams Hill in the last 3 days. And so that needle's going to start moving here pretty quick. So great time to go. I found some stupid cheap flights out there, which was great. Used some miles on American, and I don't even want to say how many miles I had to use. It was dumb. It was the equivalent of a $150 round trip flight.
I mean, that was the thing we were talking about with Phil, is like, you do, those of you that do have airline miles or your status points, the airlines are kind of weird right now. I've been noticing it when I'm looking at other trips. Is if you do use your airline miles, all of a sudden the trips become, way more affordable. It's a little skewed right now. I guess they're wanting you to use up the miles. Who knows? But definitely take the opportunities. Look at your major airports. Going into San Diego, probably your best bet just to drive up. But it's a great opportunity. It's a great golf course, and it's in February, when it will be cold, except for Southern California.
So, anyways, it's gonna be a great one. We wanted to put a little bit of a plug in there, but we've got a bunch of conversation coming up about the rules tonight. I think it's gonna be really good. Be able to interact and answer some questions. But first, we got a message from friends at Turtleson, so stay tuned. Gotta love my turtles.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
just got to throw out, there is going to be a special offer coming to APT members, a little bit of an extra discount for those that want to do Christmas shopping. They're going to do a store that is non-logoed apparel. For those that want to do stuff for Christmas, a little bit extra deal. So be paying attention for an email coming soon. That's coming out soon. And so I saw the store for that, and it looks really good. So if you want to do some Christmas shopping and get some great value on some gifts that your family and friends will love, stay tuned for that offer. Store will be about a week long. So, and coming up here pretty quick. So that way everything ships before Christmas, and that'll be good. But anyways, Mr. Handicap Committee Chairman, this is like your segment, man. This is like what you live for. We're letting you out of the dark room, stop staring at spreadsheets, and we can talk about what you found.
That's right. What did we find? Wow. All right. Well, what are we finding? Well, we're finding lots of members signing up. So that's been the fun thing that you and I talked about earlier. We finally crossed.
You actually complained about how many members signed up in the last week.
Yeah, it was good though, because I've been running reports, checking in on where everybody's signing up, making sure they're in the right division and whatnot. And I was like, dude, we had like 300 people in the last couple of weeks. Go it over 2,000.
It's been pretty good. The early signups are,
so things are good.
Very encouraging for 2024. So definitely get in. It's going to be a great year. But yeah, we want to talk about points. That's the number one thing people ask about. So points. Jake's even looking at us because it's new for everybody. So
I know a little bit about it.
I like it.
Not enough, but a little bit.
You were it's always fun when you look back, but we had long conversations all last year about how to make things equitable, keep people with keeping points, because one of the frustrating things was, when you go down, you go up, or, things change, points change. So fortunately we used some of our resources and folks that we know to come up with the magic multiplier. So I guess the basic premise of is, and no, Chris, no, sorry, Chris just typed something in chat.
I'll say it. It's going to get said. Harmonic mean. All you need to know.
Yeah. So coming up with a way to weight the points based on the division that they're earned in. So obviously our baseline points are going to be Division 5. Where our points matrix is going to be the lowest, and then as you move up, you get a multiplier for whatever division you have accumulated your points in. Division 1 being our most difficult division, so the points are multiplied heaviest there, and that's the general gist of it. I know you were really happy when we were able to figure that out. So I guess,
how many hours did we run tests on this, do you think?
I don't know. I think once we finally got once the idea came through, it was pretty.
Well, once we brought in the smart people, and it wasn't just me and you pecking around trying to figure it out. Because let's be honest, neither you or I knew what a harmonic mean was before our smart person came in and solved the problem for us.
Correct.
So
Tim Harbin still doesn't.
I said, I don't know if I could explain it now, to be honest. Like it's been a couple of weeks and I don't really remember. So
just another average.
yeah, it's
That's
just
all
an
it is.
average.
It's just
But
another average.
anyways, so the idea is, like you said, so the benefit, what we were trying to solve, right? You start with the problem. The problem is, nobody on any time a promotion happened, nobody was happy with what happened, right? You get an indiscriminate number of points. So either the player feels like they get cheated or the field feels like they got cheated. Just like there's nobody in because it very rarely made sense. So we're looking for a way to do it because let's face it, every AM tour on the planet took an indiscriminate number. It might have been a different indiscriminate number, but that's what they've done since the beginning of AM tours. And so we looked at it and said, we want a system where you can keep your points and it makes sense. And so to do that, we had to figure out how scores within different divisions and finishes would interrelate with points. And so we started by doing research, people that got promoted from Division 3 to Division 2 or Division 5 to Division 4 and, start to look at the similarities and, okay, so what would a finish in Division 4 be worth? What would the score that the winner shot in D5, where would he have placed in D4 and vice versa? And look at that through a whole heap of data and figure out how it interrelates. And that's where the harmonic mean comes in. I'm going to say it again, just for Tim Harbin here in the chat. But what it comes down to is we're weighting your playing in a different division for points. And that way you can keep your points when you move up or when you move down. And so you're never going to get 70% of your points again. If you go from Division 3 to Division 2, you're going to keep 100% of your points. If you then go from Division 2 to Division 1, you still get to keep 100% of your points. But your points are worth different. That's the kicker. So Division 1 points are worth more than Division 2. Division 2 worth more than Division 3. So we call that the difficulty multiplier. So Division 4 is 1.75x. Division 3 is 3.6x. Division 2 is 5.75x. And then Division 1 is 10x. So in a normal harmonic mean, essentially that number essentially doubles to keep things essentially, for lack of a better term. Ours is adjusted because we know that, things change when you move divisions if you also have to move back a set of T's. And so all of that's accounted for in the system. We understand that like the hardest jump on our tour is from Division 4 to Division 3 and from Division 2 to Division 1 because there's also a T bump. And so there's factors and things weighted in there. But as far as everything else in the point system, this is the other question we've got. Everything actually from a algorithm perspective is exactly the same as last year. So the Division 1 points is exactly what everything was last year. The Division 5 points are what everything was last year divided by 10. And then 2, 3, and 4 are Division 5 times the multiplier. So it works really well. We've already seen it start to work out. But if you see the points a little different, don't freak out. It is working, and we're looking at it differently between the divisions. That way, when you move, it'll be a fair move. So, what do we miss there?
I think you got to cover. That was it. That was beautiful, right? We said, man, we're going to talk a lot about points, but it's the concepts are pretty simple. It's just it's making sure to explain to everybody like, hey, there is a baseline, right? That's the baseline that's in the member's manual,
right?
And then the multiplier factor is just what each division
absolutely gets, and we'll stop and answer questions as we go through. A couple other good things to talk about too. A big change this year is instead of we used to have 1-day events, 2-day events, national majors, local finals. So now we have local events, which is your standard everyday run-of-the-mill normal event. We have what's called elevated events, which you'll see they'll be designated on the schedule as elevated. They can be 1-day events or 2-day events. There's more prize pool involved. The points double. And then we have the local finals and the North American Championships where the points are worth 2.5 times. So your local finals is always one of the most critical things in the Player of the Year race. And then obviously the North American Championship. So one of the things that I think is a really good change from year one we had talked about, I know Cliff Austin had brought up, Jake, one of your guys, talking about the weight of the North American Championship in a National Player of the Year race. And so one of the things that we were able to do last year and we've carried it on to this year is all of our points are on a scale, right? And distributed on a scale. So what's interesting is as the field gets bigger, like it does at the North American Championship, the distance between first and second gets smaller, and second and third gets smaller. So as you get that way, a third place finish is worth a lot more at the North American Championship than it would be in a local event, if that makes sense. So if you're taking the Global Golf National Player of the Year race, you're taking the lead going into the North American Championship, and you play well, there's a good chance you're still going to be the leader unless someone right behind you wins. So which is how we want it to work out, right? We're trying to find the player who's played the best year round. So so that's some interesting things. We can start answer a couple questions and then move on, because I want to explain how the local player of the year race works and then the national player of the year. I think those are two important things to explain. Obviously the national has changed a little bit. So let's see. Tim Hartman, I'm still lying to him. That's probably true. So Stevie wants to know if ladies.
So we got the ladies team.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Stevie's in Division 4, one of my St. Louis ladies pushing towards Division 3. And so, yes, there is a T change between Division 4 and Division 3. So once again, ladies' tees are set at a similar rating and slope as the men's tees. There are some things to that. If some of our ladies are watching, like, well, you said we are setting it more towards yardage, understanding that in some areas men rate the women's courses. Do you know this? This is like a weird thing I found out. So in some areas, men are rating the women's tees, and in some areas, women are rating the women's tees. And if you look at them side by side, they're completely different.
That's good job, USGA.
So now wait. One more time.
So in some areas, like ladies rate the ladies' tees for a course, right? So the ladies go out and play and they rate the golf course. They have, all the things.
The golf.
Yeah, but some golf associations don't have ladies on their course rating team, so men have to rate the ladies' tees. Yeah.
Got it.
So anyways, random fact I found out.
Got it.
I thought that was interesting. So had to make some adjustments there on the fly to figure that out and keep things right.
And one other thing, I mean, it's generally
correct.
It's 80. It's going to be 85, somewhere between 80 and 85% of the next distance. Like that's the
right.
How do you want to call it?
One of our fall events, the shortest tee box.
Oh, and thank you, Nathan.
And I would take you more seriously if you could spell ladies.
The shortest tee box was 5,500 yards.
Right.
Can't make them play 5,500 yards in Division 5 for women.
No, it's not.
It was like 76 for a course rating.
Yeah, there's some interesting ones. Something that golf can improve upon over the next 10 years would be to make the course equitable, courses more equitable for ladies, like 100%. Like just try to set up ladies' tees for a golf tournament for a while at some of these places. Like my favorite was Whistling Straits. Like the front of the ladies' tees was like 5,700 yards, but there's like fescue in front of all the tees for 100 yards. So you can't move the tees anywhere. You're just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what to do because like it doesn't get shorter than 5,700 yards. So
hey, we played like 7,600, so who cares?
Yeah. Oldest guy's history of the APT that get DQ'd for playing 500 yards longer than you're supposed to. So there's a fun.
Those of you that
wasn't the only guy, right? There's four of us.
Yeah, you had great pace of play though, so I was proud of you. So question for Minor.
Those that don't know that story, just real quick. Those that don't know that story, Jake, and who was with you? It was you,
No,
Ivan,
me. It was Matt Borgmeyer. It was Travis from Elvis.
So 2 chapter owners, by the way.
Yeah, 2 chapter owners. Travis, who does Elvis, and then it was what's his name? He was an Iowa guy, super nice guy. TJ Woodbin.
Oh, yeah.
We went out and the starter saw us and just out of habit, he just like, oh yeah, you guys know what you're doing. Same thing as yesterday, playing the blues the whole way through. We weren't playing the blues.
Yeah. And
we played the blues, and they were saving the blue tee boxes for Ryder Cup, so they had a lot of the blue tees on the blacks. So we're playing like 490-yard par 4s into the wind. Well, we had a great time.
it was It was Whistler
Yeah.
Straits, right? That
Oh,
was
yeah.
the
We,
It was
we played
such a
17
good
from like the par 3 from like 255 into the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun.
So funny. So
I
ridiculous.
was thinking, I'm the whole time thinking, what were these guys doing putting us back here? This is ridiculous.
I just want to point out that Chris has put in the chat that he was not the starter.
Yes, Chris was not the starter. No, no.
So he's very quick. Like he's not going to call out who the starter was. But
Hey, but in their defense, I did the same mistake that I get on all my guys. I didn't read the freaking rule sheet.
it's all good. So it's all good.
Right there for me. I just didn't read it. So it's on me.
We're 3 years later. It's lesson learned. Water under the bridge.
It was
So-
probably the best 7,600 yards I've ever played.
Yeah.
So I had a great time.
So funny.
Oh man.
But anyways, Chris Miner's question about Disney, which I've got about 40 spots left for Disney, somewhere in that range, a little less.
Yep.
But we are playing the Disney's Palm and Lake Buena Vista, which a little fun fact about Lake Buena Vista at Disney, it was the country club for the employees at Disney. So it's actually hidden gem of a golf course. Hosted the Walt Disney World Classic before they built Palm and Meg. So really good golf course. Palm, Tiger Woods won twice on that golf course. Really fun. So it'll be a good time, Disney. And then we'll have a Friday 4-ball series event the day after, which is the Friday. Course will be announced hopefully tomorrow. Just one little detail I'm waiting on to be able to like open registration. So grab a friend. It'll be a fun little Friday 4-ball event. And then Saturday and Sunday at Mystic Dunes, which great golf course.
Fingers crossed for something other than 40-degree and wind.
Dude, last year was like 80.
No, it wasn't. The weekend was freezing cold.
No,
yeah.
that was 2 years ago.
I was there last year.
All you guys.
No,
cried
last
2
year,
years ago.
didn't it rain? Or it was.
No, last year we were like sweating. We played that 100 holes for Folds of
I
Honor.
remember the 100 holes. It was beautiful, but I thought the weekend was still
No, the
crap.
weekend was great.
No,
You're wearing shorts.
Yeah, we were wearing
Amazing.
shorts.
wasn't it?
The Brazilian steakhouse is getting to your head a little bit.
It got to my belly too.
Dude, speaking of which, we were talking about blogging about our travels a little bit to let everybody know like the
Oh, yeah.
kind of secret places to go in the APT. Orlando, Florida,
Gee.
Adega Guacha,
Yeah,
Gaucha, whatever it's called. Sit by the kitchen. That's the only thing I can tell you. Brazilian churrascaria. I mean, I'll be honest, like you and I have become kind of a connoisseur of Brazilian meats over the last few years. Like I feel like I know about it pretty well. And it's got to be my favorite.
Yeah, it's
That
it's up there for me too. Definitely one of the top.
Yeah, that
Seasoned
night we
well.
went. Oh my gosh.
It's good.
And it's super cheap for what you get.
I tell you what, though, we also found a Korean steakhouse down there that couldn't believe the price that we got, and they have real A5 Japanese Wagyu, which it should be Hanwoo beef, being that it's Korean, but it was unbelievable. Like it was so good.
Yep.
That place was on fire.
Oh my gosh. If we got to talk about Wagyu, we have to go back for a second since Jody's not here to defend himself. So that night we're all at TPC Deer Run a couple years ago, and we're sitting there, and Major Linda Vizada had never, she's like, I only do well done steaks. And Jake's like, just please try some A5 Wagyu. And she tries it and absolutely loves it. Next thing you know, she's like rubbing Jody's belly. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, one of the top 5 most ridiculous moments in APT history right there. Like, I wish I had a video.
And she told her I ruined steaks for her for the rest of her life because she wasn't going to be able to have that all the time. Sorry.
Oh, it was good, though. Quincy, Illinois.
Yeah.
So,
that's
So
funny.
Kevin Brown's asking about Bayonet and Black Horse. It is not on the
Hey,
schedule
Black
for
Horse.
this year, but
Not the-
we do love them, so they
Yes.
won't be gone long. I will tell you that.
No.
So, anyways, Chris is telling me we got to go to commercial. He said, "Jake, you're boring, so we're going to go to commercial." We've got to hear a message from our presenting sponsor, Global Golf, and then we'll be right back.
Shop Global Golf for gear and recommendations that are all about you. With You Try, You Select, and You Trade In, Global Golf's comprehensive suite of services feature the widest variety of new and pre-owned products, PGA professional backed insight, and unbeatable value to help you play your best. So visit Global Golf today and experience personalized shopping that's all about you.
That's a good segment there. Lead into the Global Golf National Player of the Year.
I just used my $50. I totally forgot about it. I just used it. It was still in my account. Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty awesome. So
Got some customized golf balls I can lose.
there you go. Well, the good news is we'll have some news on Global Golf's participation with us in 2024 soon.
Soon.
Very soon. So we're just waiting for the contract to clear legal. And, unfortunately for us, their legal department isn't as, skimpy as ours is, because ours, it's like, hey, Jody. And he goes, I don't care.
Exactly.
Do whatever you want. Perfect. Not really, guys. That is a joke. So, no, Jody's great, but it is super convenient when, your legal department is one. And you can text him. It's so much easier.
And a phone call away, or even a text, right? So I just got to chime in here real quick, because during the break I had to look it up. So because Jake just not even missing a beat, being in Kansas City, knowing his beef. I mean, he just nailed it. The Korean, it's Hanwoo, right? Is that that's their high end? I was like, so I had to spend.
Some would say it's better than Wagyu.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I just had to, just pride you on your knowledge, of the being in the middle.
Please
of the
don't get Fegley
and being able.
Please don't get Fegley talking about this, Jake, because all of a sudden we'll be
You brought it up.
and different. Be like, Meat Rock.
We're not going there today. We got too
His
much.
new nickname's going to be like
Well,
Fred Flintstone or something.
Oh, but yeah, that was just an interesting observation. I had to chime in real quick for. So
yeah.
All right, so we got a couple questions. All right, so we got Bayonet Black House, and Jeremy asked about Chambers.
Not this year. Look for in 2025.
Yeah.
We got to rotate some of these around, or we can never take you to new places.
Correct.
Wait till you see the Kansas City
I
major.
have a whole.
I will tell you, I'm really sad to leave Chambers, though.
Yeah.
Kansas City major.
I'm just sad I have to wait a year and a half.
Oh, that was a joke. I got it.
Yeah.
I love you, Jake.
Yeah. We got great
All
public,
right, so
but we don't have anything that is built to house that.
So
real quick, just to reiterate what you were, we were talking about earlier, and I had it in my head and it just totally disappeared. We were talking about we talked about points. The other important thing you were talking about with the points list. What else did we discuss?
let's talk about player of the year. We need to cover
player of the year, right? And that's up next, right? So player of the year's up
we
next.
just do it right now. I'm in.
Um,
and you'll think about what you wanted to talk
I mean,
about, and we can go to that.
Yeah, we can think about it. I mean, the player of the year stuff. I remember. I totally remember what it was, because it does relate to player of the year. The key is like we talk about things all the time, right? Like one of the big things that any organization does is language, right? Like I was at UPS for 20 years. I have more accurate acronyms than those of us, those of our friends and family that were military folks can talk about acronyms till they're blue in the face. But as APT, right, we've come up with some new names that we want to make sure people are clear about, right? And that is the your standard event, your standard one-day event, right? And that's standard. That's what it is. And then the key being our elevated, right? There's elevated events are one-day events. Elevated events are two-day events. Elevated events are the national majors, both signature and otherwise. So the point structure, as we lead into the player of the year discussion, the point structure is based off of your standard one-day events and your elevated events, whether they are classified as a one-day elevated or a two-day elevated event. It's the points for that are the same.
Right. So
whether you gathered them in your local chapter or traveling to other chapters or traveling to the national majors. So that was the one thing that, we quickly went over it, and I just wanted to come back and make sure that.
And I think that's really good, because I think a big misconception is people think they can't compete on the local player of the year if they don't travel and play in majors. And the fact of the matter is that we've we've modified the point system, so that's not the case.
Yep.
So you can get
Correct.
just as many points in your local, sorry, I shouldn't say local, in your elevated event in your local chapter. You see, we're
Yeah.
still getting used to the wording as well, so I apologize. As you can by traveling to a national major, and I think that's a great segue into talking about the Global Golf National Player of the Year race. The biggest change of any of our Player of the Year races is the National Player of the Year race. You know, in years past, it had been essentially the local Player of the Year race plus an extra event plus the national championship, right? The North American Championship in Myrtle last year. This is the biggest change, and so we've actually split out for points in this elevated events and majors. So because we have a bunch of people that are playing majors, chasing the National Player of the Year, which is great. We love it. So the National Player of the Year calculation is based off of 2 local events, 1 elevated event, 3 national majors, your local finals, and the North American Championship. I'm reading, so it helps.
I know. You were like, wait, I got to read
If anybody
this
noticed the
just to
change
be
today,
sure.
there was a glitch we fixed in the software. So there was a couple events counting for multiple things, and that's what happened. So everything is correct now, just so you know. But anyways, so that's the National Player of the Year. So it's going to measure how you do against national competition. And so if you're wanting to compete for National Player of the Year, you're traveling around playing against, testing your skills against players from other chapters. Your local Player of the Year is more focused on the local events. It's weighted much more heavily towards the local events. It counts your best 8 local events. So you play 15 local events, you can only win points for 8 of them. So, and then you get up to 2 elevated events, which, like you said, are elevated events within your local chapter. If you travel and play a national major, it's considered an elevated event. All that. And then the biggest piece is your local finals. 2.5 points, 2.5 times the points. You make a huge move in the local finals, and that determines your local Player of the Year. And so a little different. So we've got 2 different things going on, which I think is good. You know, and honestly, we have players that want to compete in both, players that compete in one, players compete in the other. And so it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out this year with that. So Jake, what are we missing? You're the color commentator here.
I don't know. I mean, all I'm thinking about is like some Wagyu and some Hanwoo beef right now, to be honest with you. What were we talking about?
That's fair.
Got the big guy thinking about food.
Yeah, I have not eaten dinner. It's actually sitting on the stove. So
have you signed up for Florida yet?
Yeah, I'm not playing the Disney ones because I'll be there for the PGA show. So right. we're either going down Thursday through Thursday or Friday through Friday. So I am playing Mystic Dunes.
Gotcha. So wow, Chris Miner just said he's going to sleep. That's not very nice.
Yeah,
it's my heart.
I don't know that guy yet, and he's already making fun of me all the time. Gosh,
he's from Myrtle Beach. He's a great dude. So he'll be in Florida, so you'll meet him. So
call him the best color guy in the game for nothing.
Ches is on point tonight. I love it. We should have had Ches back on the show tonight. It would have been fun. Yeah, so one of the things I think we could talk about too, Fegley, while we're here, we got a few minutes left, is handicaps. Yep. So when you join the tour,
yep.
How do I pick a division? What division should I pick?
So the biggest thing that comes in play here is if you have a handicap system from a handicap number from somewhere, whether that's, the USGA, US, whatever, the US, forget what index that is, other amateur tour that you have. If you have that information, obviously you want to pass it on to us. The more information, the better. If you just have a gin, that's fine. We're going to just go directly for your 52-week low. And that's what's going to slot you. Like off the get-go, the easiest thing to do, if you're on the line of one of the divisions, go ahead and test your skills, man. As they say, level up and go for it. Take that 52-week low and look for the competition that suits that.
The biggest thing is don't assume that everyone else is sandbagging. So pick a different division because we're working really hard to root that out, and you don't want to be that guy.
You're right, and we're watching, right? Like one of the biggest things that we've all talked about. I talked to one of our fellow chapter owners earlier today about a couple players. That's one of the things that we're all of us are really passionate about and stepping up in this atmosphere and in this industry and in these particular tournaments. is making sure that there's at least as good of oversight as we can put on it. And eliminating the games that you have to play and the gamesmanship and all this other.
Yeah. So much easier if you just come in and play at your actual handicap. And
right.
It also helps if you don't have a vanity gen or you don't sandbag it for member guests. Like, just put in honest scores and it will make you put in the correct division. But if you have a gen of 6 and you come to tournament golf and you can't break 90, your 6 means nothing. Yeah. Stop putting in scores that aren't true.
Correct, because that is one thing we do see it. We do see it both ways.
And the other thing too, if you have a gen that's elevated, like to go play in member guests, so say you're 15 and you come into our tournament and shoot 76, and that's your first event with us, you will get disqualified.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and unfortunately, we've had a couple this year, and I love it. I love it. Promote him, move him, but so that's just those are the key things that we're looking at, and just to make sure that we're doing what we can, and making sure we at least do the basics. Again, the biggest thing that we all talked about in our chapter owner meeting was nationally after the national championship was just getting back to the basics and looking. I mean, as long as we're doing our job on the front end, looking and trying to place folks correctly, it's going to help things. And it's going to help the competition for everybody. So those of you that refer folks, it's another huge thing. You probably know where they really fit. So again, use that knowledge, get them set up the right way. So we don't have to worry about
it's everybody's benefit. And I think the thing we need to talk about tonight too, and we can't reiterate, because as we were trying to figure this whole thing out, we've done some people call them mistakes. I like to call them learning opportunities. Fegley's cracking up about that. But what's the importance now of being validated? What does it mean when you're validated? Seven tournament scores. And I think this is important for everybody watching to understand, because this is always a question.
Before Fegley jumps on that, I want to reiterate for those of you watching, these guys watch this stuff like a hawk. Last year at Mazingo, we had some irregularly low scores out of quite a few of us because they were calling for 25 mile-an-hour winds and storms. And so I set the course up for that. We ended up getting 0, like 4 mile-an-hour wind and not a single drop of rain for most of the weekend. It was absolutely beautiful, perfect scoring conditions. One of our guys went really low. Within 30 minutes of me posting that score, Phil was already on the phone with me going, "You're DQing that guy, right? You're DQing that guy, right?" And then I was like, "No. He's validated. Like, he's played with us for 3 years. This is the best round he's ever shot." And then Phil looks at the score and goes, Yep, you're right. You're right. Keep him where he's at. Tell him congratulations on the great round.
No, I think that's important. And so here's the thing. When you're validated, you're never going to get DQ'd.
Right. Correct. That was, as you put it, one of our learning opportunities. Man, your corporate speak is very strong this evening. It's a learning
opportunity, baby. Let's do it. No, that being said, I mean, honestly, it's the last thing we want to do. But at the same time, we're going to have to protect the field and protect our members. We realize that you guys make an investment to play in tournaments with us. And nobody likes to get beat by the guy that comes in that says he's a 15 and it's really 6. So in those situations is we're getting to that and we're looking at it. And part of it with the point system is the goal of having points that are worth different. If you know that you're going to get promoted as you're playing better, there's always indicators before someone gets promoted. Like, you don't just wake up one day and go shoot 78. You've probably done it in a practice round before. And so as that starts to happen and you have the ability to, it actually benefits you from a points perspective in the tour to go ahead and promote yourself.
Yeah. Right. And that's the whole thing, right? Like, as you look, as you bring it into a really good segue here is as you look at that, right? Like, your game. If you're approaching that point where you're going to move up, there's nothing stopping you from picking up the phone, calling the handicap committee, or just handicaps at apt.org, handicaps at apt.org, and just go ahead, aptgolf.org. Jeez.
We need to get you a publicist.
Yeah, exactly. But send that email and go, or talk to your local chapter owner. Take that step up. Don't waste that amazing round collecting Division 3 points or Division 4 points.
I mean, you'll win the tournament if you're validated. We'll congratulate you.
Yeah. I mean, it's
As
still
for like
okay,
giving you a
right?
suitcase to Division 2.
Right. But at the same point in time, take that opportunity to go, wait, I'm feeling really good this week. I'm probably on the cusp of going to get promoted anytime soon. Go ahead, take the bump, and then play that really good round in Division 2, Division 3, Division 4, whatever it happens to be, and collect those points so you can move yourself way up in those player of the year standings. So
nothing against that. And the last thing we got 3 minutes. So relegations real quick.
Oh boy.
Big change in relegations is they're not automatic anymore. It's not, hey, I'm half stroke over, I want to go back. It's kind of like getting your amateur status back. It's a good way to put it. Handicap committee's been working really, really hard on that. We're running all kinds of crazy data. That's a good way to put it. It's not a harmonic mean, I'll tell you that. So that's for Tim. But just know this: they're not automatic. So if you were like in Division 2 and you were a 5 handicap for all of last year, and you like slump for 5 rounds and somehow get your handicap up to a 10, and you try to go to Division 3, we're probably going to look at you like you're crazy. So.
And that's a real extreme case. But again, it's the same thing, right? Like some players, when you cross that threshold, you go from 8.2 to 8.6, 8.8. We're going to spend some time looking at what rounds you shot, looking at what your best 14. If you don't have 14 scores yet, the likelihood of you being able to go down is going to be slim, because one of the things we're taking a longer process in doing is, those of you that have been around the tour last year saw it. Relegate, win, play really well, win second place something, promote right back up. We're going through the numbers in the background to make sure that it's not 100%, nothing's ever guaranteed, but to make sure that if you do play well, it's not going to be something that's going to put you back up into
We're trying to avoid playing ping pong.
Right. When you make the choice to come down, there's valid reasons there, and your handicap has clearly demonstrated that you should go.
Because
helps to prevent guys from trying to play that ride the fence line of,
correct.
Well, I need to just play one more bad round and I can get back to that Division 4 where I know I can win. We just want you to play better golf. That's the point of tournament golf, right? Is to get better, play better golf, practice.
Yep.
Well, and the key to making our tour fair, where everybody can have an enjoyable experience and a chance to win, because people talk about the divisions being too big. I don't believe they're too big if you get the people that shouldn't be in the division out, and that's what we're working really hard to do. The point is in golf, your handicap's about your potential. It's not about your average. It's not what you manage it to. It's about what are you capable of doing. And if you're capable of being a Division 3 player, you need to play in Division 3. If you're capable of being a Division 2 player, you need to play in Division 2. And that's part of it, and that's part of the deal to make it fair for everybody. And if obviously things change, like injuries happen, people get older, people like me get a job and stop playing, you know what I mean? Like all that affects it, and we'll certainly take that all into account. But the key is relegation isn't for breaking a slump.
Yep. I mean, I went down to nationals with a Division 2 handicap in Division 1 and ended up taking 8th place in Division 1. So sometimes you just play well, sometimes you just play well.
Right. So. No, absolutely. Well, we got 1 minute warning, I've been told. So any questions, but we'll go final thoughts of the evening, Mr. Fegley.
So I think it was a really good discussion. I know we went through some things kind of quickly, but again, go back to the members manual, ask questions, look at things. It starts with, with the points, right? We've got different things at the points level. We've got a multiplier for those points by division. Then that leads into obviously what we talked about with our national player of the year race. That's different from the local player of the year race. So again, a lot of good, interesting things that have gone on. Like you and I talked about earlier, we got to push out and communicate with folks. I know I rambled and went on a little bit longer in a minute, but
it's all good.
There's a lot there.
I'm going to answer Cal's question because he keeps asking, and I'll answer the question about the Super Senior T rationale. It's very simple. Is when you give someone a 600 to 700 yard advantage, for super senior tees, which is what it would be, the difference in the rating and slope of the golf course is going to be outside of any boundaries that the USGA would consider regular, right? So the USGA has certain different guidelines, and we put it together to try to take the edge off. But a 600 to 700 yard advantage is just, it's frankly too much from a competition standpoint, and that's the reason. So if there's a way around that, I'm certainly willing to listen. But at that point, that's the rationale for it, is because you'd be getting a 2.5 to 3 shot advantage on the entire field from 700 yards, and that's really hard to do in a gross event. So that's the rationale behind it. So I realize it may not be the answer you wanted to hear, but that's the rationale. So that's why it's been held up in our committee discussions, and you haven't seen any movement on it. So Jake, final thoughts?
No, I think you guys nailed it. I love the point system, though. I know we talked in depth about all the trials and how you had tested this theory hundreds of times and how it worked out well, and I'm all for it. So I've already been explaining to my guys, and so far it's been really good reactions, good feedback. So
cool.
That was I'm just curious how long it'll take the competitors to adopt since you gave the numbers today.
Hey, it's all in the member manual, man. All you got to do is download it. It gets copied every day, man. It gets really funny. I won't pick on anybody for that, but it's always fun to, I should be like Joe Smo and write textbooks. I feel like so we could maybe sell the member manual. I don't know. It's all good. No, anyways, next week, guys, we will not have a live because it's Thanksgiving. I love y'all, but not enough to break into my nap time on Thanksgiving to do a live, and I'm sure all of your wives do not want you to be on a live with us either. So next week we'll be off. We'll be back the following Thursday. Is that
from
Myrtle Beach?
We may have to figure out some technology challenges where we can have multiple screens and multiple faces. It'll be interesting.
So yeah, it'll be fun. So we'll see if we can get that solved, but we'll all be together for the live. So maybe we'll do it all huddled on one phone, because that'll be interesting. So anyways, you guys have a great holiday and Thanksgiving. Enjoy some time with your families, and looking forward to being back on the road in a couple weeks.
Yep.
So have a good one.
You can play in any chapter that you want. So you get to meet people from anywhere